Welcome back. Today is the last day to apply for health insurance with Covered California. Here to tell us about when coverage will begin and the future of health insurance in California is Craig Gussin. I wish he could explain the future of health insurance. It's tough to do. Craig Gussin joins us this morning. Craig, there is so much uncertainty, but before we get to that, let's talk about what is for sure. Today is the deadline.
Today is the last day to buy health insurance. You have an option. You either buy it today and your coverage will start March 1st, or you're going to pay a penalty of 2.5% of your income with $695, whichever is higher.
That's starting to get up there.
Yep, it is.
You know, the first year this came in, it was most people say, "Oh, you know, I can pay that instead." Right. But now it's getting up there.
It's getting expensive, and on top of that, if you get hospitalized, you're going to pay the bill. They're going to come after you because the hospitals are done, you know, eating the losses. So. Everybody has some skin in the game, and that's one of the things that's going to happen. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens in D.C. over the next, couple of years.
And then we have mentioned there are some special circumstances after today, but there are very few, right?
It's a qualifying event. You lose your coverage because maybe you got divorced and you had coverage with spouse. Maybe you lost your job. Those are qualifying events. But just saying, I think I want to get health insurance now because I have a health issue, I can't help you. Not after today. So if you're going to sign up, it's today.
All right, let's talk about the uncertainties.
Okay.
How do you feel about the transition, because there's going to be some sort of transition, at least nationwide.
Right.
And then we'll talk about California, which is kind of its own different, separate animal here.
We are our own, yes.
Yeah, but let's talk about how long do you think any type of transition will take over to what the Republicans want now in Washington?
I'm guessing 18 to 24 months, because you just can't. It took the ACA under President Obama, it took them 4 years to set it up. Now what they want to do is they want to take out all the bad stuff, leave the good stuff, and make it better for everybody. And it's going to take a couple years to work everything out, how you're going to do it. It just doesn't happen overnight. President Trump realizes it. I think Congress realizes it. So it's going to be 18 to 24 months. And on top of all that, regardless of what the federal government does, each insurance commissioner in each state has to approve the new plans. So this just doesn't happen overnight.
All right, now let's get to California, because California may not approve these plans. What's going to happen in California regardless of what happens in Washington?
It all depends what the president and Congress does. California is a state-run exchange. We don't care what the feds do unless they cut off the funds to California. If they cut off the funds to California, then California is going to have to come up with, I read numbers of 22 million to 22 billion, I don't know, some crazy number to offset what the government doesn't give them. So they're either going to come up with that, or they're going to have to go into whatever the government comes up with. We don't know. But right now, we're a state exchange. It doesn't affect what President Trump or the government in D.C. says, which is going to be wait and see. They look at what happens in Washington, D.C. Even under President Obama, they looked at what he did. Sometimes they accepted it. Other times they said, hey, we're a state-run exchange. So I think it's going to be a wait and see. I'm hoping what they do is they keep the good stuff that's really worked. Covering kids at age 26, lifetime maximum mandates. The insurance companies have been saying, what I'm reading is the insurance company is saying, if you get rid of mandates, which means you can buy insurance whenever you want, but it's guaranteed that you can always buy it, almost every insurance company is going to leave the market because they can't afford to have you decide, oh, you know what, I need to have back surgery, or I just found out I have cancer, and now I want the insurance, but you haven't had it for years. So it all depends on what happens, and those are the kind of issues that I think the federal government's got to deal with to keep everybody whole and make sure that everybody, because we all want everybody to have insurance. I heard it on your last, with Dave Plant when he did it at school about getting the kids health insurance. It's a big deal. We need everybody insured, but everybody's got to have some skin in the game, and they all have to be involved either through having the government help them or through buying it on their own.
And you're headed to Washington next week to figure all this out, right?
We're gonna have, yes, next week, next Saturday, I leave for Washington, D.C. We're gonna be meeting with the legislators, talking to the people there, and trying to educate them on what they need to do this time to do it right and make sure it's done so everybody gets insurance.
All right, stay in touch then, all right?
I promise I will.
All right, thank you so much, Craig.
Good talking to you.
See you. San Diego's Museum Month starts tomorrow, February.